So, welcome to episode 2 of Girthzone. We're doing it inside this time, so hopefully there will not be any killer seagull attacks like last time. We are quite high up here, so there might be. I don't see any about and or hear anybody. So, it should be better. I did have a plan for this. I did plan this out. I did have a little list of things I was going to do, but I have lost that list. I assume it's somewhere that isn't here. But I'm just going to go off my memory and see what we've got. Last week, in the live toy hunt section of the broadcast, we went to B&M and I bought Trailbreaker, and that feels like ages ago now, mainly because I've brought other folk since then. But Trailbreaker was lovely. Trailbreaker was like really fantastic. He's like the third version of that mold, and I should probably have did a toys that I bought this week bumper thing, but I forgot. It was on the little list, but yeah, like I said, that list is long gone. Trailbreaker though. Trailbreaker's fantastic. He is quite iron-hidey. I mean, they're the same body. They're the same toy, just different colours. But like, I had First Aid first. I didn't get the Stunticon guy. I forget what he's called. I'm not sure if Britain got that Stunticon wave. I don't think they did. So my first experience with the mold was the First Aid version of it, which is probably the best version of it because it has better shoulder pads. Those shoulder pads on First Aid are fantastic in comparison to the shoulder pads on Ironhide and Trailbreaker. I don't know if they're great shoulder pads, but the ones on First Aid allow that toy's arms to move more than the ones on Trailbreakers and Ironhide. So I kind of thought that was a problem going in. It's not really a massive problem, but it's like, well, this toy does this thing better than these toys, so it's, you know, a bit of lesser if you're getting other ones. But Trailbreaker, he doesn't do much more than Ironhide or First Aid to kind of like stand out. He might also be called Trail Cutter. I don't know. There's like a name confusion thing there in my mind. Also, don't really know the character, so he doesn't have anything like holding him solid in my mind as a guy. He just is a black ray brain of Ironhide to me, really, with like a gun hand that I gather is like a force field hand or something. Never really got invested in the character. Mostly bought him because he is a Combiners Wars limb, and like me, those Combiner Wars giant robots. So that's mostly why I bought him. He's a good hand. He's a good arm. It's a solid transformation. He doesn't necessarily need to exist. I already have one combiner that is like a combiner that doesn't need to exist. I already have Betatron / Galvatron, Grand Galvatron, whatever you want to call him. So I don't necessarily need to get the Sky Rain lads, but at this point I'm committed to it. I got Hound from that wave back, was it last year? Beginning of the year? It was a long time ago, and I got him for a cut down price. I forget if he was cheaper than they are in B&M, because right now they're like £10, which is good for a Combiner Wars limb, and it does have the comic book with it, so it's, you know, it's extra value, but it's not a fantastic bargain, you know. It's not like £7 or £6. I feel like the Betatron wave or Optimus Maximus, the Optimus Maximus wave, when it got to B&M was like £6, which I was hoping these would be, because £10 is not steep at all. It just doesn't feel as much of a, you know, bargain or a find, you know. That said, I did go back and buy Wheeljack, because Trailbreaker and Wheeljack were the ones I wanted. Don't want Smokescreen at all, really. He doesn't do anything for me. I don't know who he is. He's the genericest of generic car people. Wheeljack, though. Wheeljack's very pretty. Like, I know a lot of people probably complain that he's just plain plastic, but he is white. Like, the character is white. I don't particularly get why that would be a problem. His face is like a combination of like lovely and too thin, but in a way that looks like Wheeljack's face. It's really confusing when you look at Wheeljack's face because it looks almost perfect, but then it's kind of flawed and also it's on that body, which like is the same thing. You know, it's a really good body, and then at other times it's not a really good body because it's got those legs that like allow it to do things, but then those legs doing things gets in the way and it all it flops about, and he's too like girthy around the torso, and in some poses that looks amazing, and in others it's like, what is this toy? And he's a weird guy. I think I'd like to bring up with the Combiner Wars limb fellas is like I'm super pro all their like remolding and repaints and all the stuff they did with those like 4 or 5 base bodies. I think they've done some cracking stuff there. Did they have to give the same guys the same weapons in every release? Like, does Wheeljack need that like pipe gun sword that Sunstreaker and the Stunticon lad had? Does Ironhide need that axe? Does First Aid need that axe? The connotations of giving First Aid that axe are amazing. Like, I'll give you that, but did that need to happen? Like when they remolded Rook into like the Swindle body, they gave him like a Swindle gun, or I think it was more like a Hound gun, but like they gave him a different gun. Like they could clearly do it. Feels just kind of lazy. Well, that's the end of this section. Girthzone. Welcome to the live toy hunt section of Girthzone 2. I'm at the Asda in Alloa, and they're pretty stocked up. They've got loads of last night stuff. Like, they've got the last night deluxes, which are £22.47 apparently. I mean, they've got Swish boxes, but they do not look worth it. I mean, maybe they are. I kind of want that barricade, Big Barra, but they do not look worth it. They've got Rid stuff, the Combiner Force Warriors, they look cool, but I've got the ones I want from that. They've got loads of Gnaws, which I'll probably get at some point for that Dying DeVito vibe. Loads of, what are these? Armor Turbo, they look like movie figures, but with the old Beast Wars mask upgrade thing. That looks fun, but I'll never buy them. They got one-step changers, which are $13.97. What? No. They got tiny turbo changers, which are chargers changers. I think I misspelled them on the last video, but hey, these are probably what I'm going to be buying from the Transformers 5 line. And they've got other stuff. They got Power Rangers. They got Ninja Turtles. They all seem cool, but I won't be buying them. End of what I found in Alloa. Hello! We're doing a grocery haul now in the Girthzone. In my hand, I hold a bag of potatoes. British potatoes from Sainsbury's, apparently. So, you know, wee bit of patriotism there. Potato patriotism. Potato-based patriotism. They seem quite nice. They seem potato-shaped, which, you know, is always a good start. Also potato-coloured and potato-sized. Although I accept that potatoes can be any size, really. But apart from that, they are potatoes. This isn't just a girthy video grocery haul. Apart from, you know, the video component, because that doesn't exist, because this is an audio thing. But it is actually a video thing, but don't tell anyone. Yeah. I got some potatoes, as we've established. But before that, I went to the charity shops and had a wee rake. And in the charity shops, I found a wee bumblebee. And I know what you're thinking. Craig, that's not news. The bumblebee plague that started in 2007 never really left us. We're still affected by it. So why are you telling us that you found a bumblebee like it's some kind of thing? Well, it's not just a bumblebee, it's a terrible bumblebee. And if you know Transformers, you know that terrible bumblebees are kind of fun, you know, like they're guff, like in a fun way. This one's like a non-step changer. Well, I suppose it's a one-step changer because you have to press a button. But he's got like a button on his butt that you press and it turns him from car into robot. And I was very surprised because it didn't look like he had any, well, like why would he have articulation? But he's got wee arms, and he's got like wee arms, like sculpted into his arm flap. It's amazing, right? I mean, it's not amazing, it's guff, but like it's amazing guff. I also found a wee Ben 10 guy, I don't know who he's called, but he's a lovely shape and form and colour. He's
He's like, is mauve a colour? Red, mauve, browny red, I don't know, blood red. I'll have to go look him up, see who he is. But wee successful charity haul there, you know. Also potatoes, because, you know, gotta eat. So, it's marathon day in the city in which I live, in Scotland. And, yeah, all the roads are closed. It's a bit grim. Like I can see, like, the benefit of having, like, a big event and, like, getting all your folk around and making a hell of $1, but, like, if all the roads are closed, like, think of all the businesses that aren't going to be making a hell of $1. And I know it's a Sunday, but, like, I've been hitting the old Skyrim, viewers, listeners, and it's been zapping all of my time to do things, you know. I've got a lot of projects, like this video, this audio visual display. Yeah, I've got that on the go, you know. Girthzone 2 is still like a project on the go. I've got a blur video, like a red blur video I've been meaning to do for like months now, that's just kind of sitting on the editor waiting to go. I'm going to try and get that. Also, while I've been walking here, I've been thinking about doing maybe like a combiner week. I really want to do, like, you know, like Evangelist, you know how he like puts out his like box setted like Combiner Wars content. I want to do something like that. You know, I want to have like a solid week of like, here's all of the Defensor crew, or here's all of the bloody Betatron boys. But, you know, I can't really put one video together quickly, so 5 or 6 is going to be a bit of a struggle. Although, it seems like a bit of a challenge, so I might fire into it. Defensor has like a special place in my heart because he's the first combiner of Transformers, to my knowledge, that I've completed, that I had, like, you know, bought separately. Although, I say that, I mean, did I technically complete Transformers Prim Abominus first? I can't remember, because I definitely had the Abominus boys long before I committed to the Combiner Wars, but I'm not sure if I finished them. Well, I might have, like, cheekily finished them first with, like, those Age of Extinction repaints, which do look hella good. Like, I'm a big fan of those Prime Abominus lads, and I'm, like, super hyped for these last night repaints. Like, oh, the state of those, like, wee Legion lads that are in, like, supermarkets and stuff now, because, like, they've got, I feel like it's like a Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime wee guy masquerading as his Night Self, which doesn't work at all. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks, because I've not looked it up, but, like, he's an older looking Prime, and they've got, like, wee Ripper Snapper, or whatever he gets called, masquerading as Grimlock again, but, like, this time they've actually painted him his, you know, dull metallic colours and not the cracking bronze and black that the Grimlock from Age of Extinction had. It's such a like, I'm so into it, because, like, they've got Prowl, the smokescreen Cyberverse guy, Prowl, masquerading as Barricade, and I'm well into that. The problem is, I'm not spending £7.50 on them. Like, when they get to, like, £4, £3, like, those supermarkets have had them down to, like, £3 for that kind of size category. They do it all the time with, like, the Red Boys. But, like, when that happens, I will be getting myself a Grimlock, because I'm a sucker for those Abominus limbs. I will have new shoes for my Abominus, sir. I'll take all that. And then, like, that day when they, like, dropped the news that they're doing, like, another Abominus set with, like, a new torso, what madman is working at Hasbro that, like, loves the Abominus folk as much as I do? Me from the future? Possibly. The plague of bumblebees continues. I was out and about and I picked up another bumblebee. I got it from a charity shop. It was like £1. It's one of those upscaled Cyberverse guys. They're really weird. They are just like the Cyberverse figure, but the size of a deluxe. I feel like they were charging the price of a deluxe, maybe a little bit less when they came out. It was a really weird thing. It was really cheeky of them. I like it as like an experiment. Like, they were trying something out, and these are they are good toys for children. Like, they are, like, bulky and clunky and, like, easy to transform. The transformation on him, on Bumblebee, is actually quite satisfying. I assume it's the same, like, on the actual Wii toy. But he's really basic, and, like, he is, like, the idea of him is kind of terrible. Like, taking the small figure, bulking it up, charging more for it. It's kind of like what, like, a knockoff thing would do, but it's an actual Hasbro product. Hasbro? We'll get there. But I haven't played with it. It kind of works, and, like, I'm sure it's, like, a good thing for the younger children, and that's who it was aimed at. Since then, there's been an explosion of, like, big, clunky, somewhat terrible toys aimed at the younger market that have kind of flooded shops, and I tend not to get angry at that, because those toys are for kids, and, like, Transformers are for kids. Like, that is what they started as, and that's what they're for. I mean, and, like, the adult collectors, or the more less 4-year-old collectors, they have vast swathes of Transformers to, like, pick from. Like, Combiner Wars and Titan's Return have been bloody solid for the last 2-3 years. I forget, was it 2015 it started? We're only in 2017. Maths. But aye. So, like, I don't feel bad about this kind of thing, because, like, I see it on the shelf and I'm like, that's cool, I'm sure a kid will like that. That's fine. It doesn't even take up space, because, like, supermarkets around here, like, they're either selling Generations stuff or they're not. Like, it's not like a case of it, like, it's vying for space. And, like, there will be a Transformers movie that rolls around and just, like, steamrolls that toy aisle, and it'll just be nothing but, like, Grimlocks and bloody Squeaks for months. I'm sure Squeaks will be fine as well. I don't know. He's got that giant gun, which makes me think he'll be kind of terrible. I mean, he will be terrible. It's a Michael Bay film, but, like, what kind of terrible? What kind of level of terrible, you know? What was I talking about? Aye. So I got this bee. He's kind of lovely, because he's like Beast Hunters. Because that Beast Hunters line was really weird. Like, they Mad Maxified all of those Transformers Prime designs, which were like cartoonized versions of the Bayformers. So it's like a weird, like, third form extrapolation. Like, they've bolted on all these guns and spikes, and it really works. It really works, because it's tied together by, like, Bumblebee's new head, which looks like a cross between Bumblebee's head, a Grumpy Cat's head, and, like, a Skyrim elf helmet head. It looks amazing, and it's got these really, really deep-set Bumblebee circular eyes that are, like, really haunting, like, back in its, like, sockets. So yeah, I kind of like him. Like, he doesn't have any, like, knees or elbows or anything. He is just a wee Cyberverse guy blown up. But the combination of really cool head, fun to do transformation, and, like, he's got, like, built-in weaponry that, like, his car bonnet has guns that fold down. Well, the bonnet folds down around the head to give it the illusion of, like, Armada Starscream shouldery cannon-y doodads. Yeah, like, I paid £1 for him. I would not have bought him from the shops when he was out, but I'm really happy. Like, yes, he is a bee. In my head, I think of him as a separate character, because he is basically not Bumblebee. But yeah, like, these things were fun. They're alright. Kind of terrible. Like, they are, like, how was it, a portent of things to come, or they were back in the day. I mean, like, they did, like, thrust at terrible, it's not even terrible business decisions, because it makes sense for, like, Hasbro to put out, like, lots and lots of Bumblebees and lots of Optimus Primes, because those are the heroes of the films. And, like, do you remember, like, back in the day when, like, you'd go in, like, to buy a toy, like a Transformers toy, you've just seen, like, a film maybe in 2007 or before that, you were watching the show and you're like, oh yeah, like, or, like, Optimus Prime from Armada, or, like, Optimus Primal from Beast Wars or something, and you want a hero, and you go in and there's just, like, some guy that you're like, alright, there's this, like, I don't know, wildebeest guy, or some weirdy beardy from Armada. I can't actually think of someone from Armada that wasn't in the show that was just a toy, but you get me, you know, there was those toy-only characters that were everywhere, and, like, I guess that doesn't make sense from a business perspective to make them as much now. I really miss those days, though. Like, those were my jams, man. Like, I had so many Transformers that I was just like, I don't know this guy, but he looks cool, he's a cool Transformer, I'm sure he might be in the show at some point, and then never was, or he was, and it was only, like, for a second. What was I talking about? Girth. Probably Girth. Girthzone. Hello, my guest today is David Houghton. That's your name, isn't it?
I didn't know we'd started this, but
Yeah, we're starting. We're not professional.
okay. Yeah, that is my name. Unfortunately,
That is the name that you were given.
the birth name given to me by my family.
Your family was like, yo, this guy's gonna be a dad, we should just call him David.
Yeah,
I told you about the existence of another dad today, and that made you quite angry, didn't it?
vaguely angry.
There was this young, not 17-year-old, that'd be weird if he was 17, I guess, but he was wearing one of those levers jumpers, and his nickname was Dad. I tried to get a picture, like I crept up behind him, like I came up behind him with my camera, and tried to get a picture, but he was standing against the light, so it didn't show up.
He could be 17.
I mean, is that when you leave school? Do you leave school at 17 or is it
I left
18?
school at 17.
Oh, I suppose, but if you're getting the levers jumper, do you not have to stay till 6 year?
Yeah, I left 6 year at 17.
Is it 17? Like, it's been so long, it's been like 10 years.
I was like one of the youngest folk in my year.
Oh yeah, because I forget, like, there's like
Which is
two...
funny, because I'm one of the oldest one in our group.
And you're a dad.
Yeah, well, not biologically, but yeah.
But, you know, physically. Not physically,
Yeah.
what's the opposite? Mentally, mystically, metaphysically.
Unbelievably.
Yeah. It was weird. I don't know, like, I felt the need to take a picture of it, because I don't know why, but I felt like people wouldn't believe me that he was called Dad.
It angers you too much.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He can't be Dad, he's only a teen. A tween at that.
A babber.
Just a small, potato-like creature.
Okay. So, where are you going with this? What kind of...
I don't know, it's just an interview, I just wanted to, like, be like, and today's guest is David.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not necessarily filler, because I don't have to fill time. Like, it can be as long as I want, but I feel the need to, like, put padding in, because I'm that perverse.
I mean, you're padding something that doesn't require padding.
It doesn't
because
require
there is
padding.
no set limit.
It has no set limit, it doesn't have to be as long or as short, but, like, I'm like, no, it needs like, extra material, you know? We need to get past that 45-minute mark, because that's what people are into on YouTube, not the 10-minute thing. That's a lie. The algorithm doesn't favour 10-minute videos. It favours 7-hour-long bangers.
Right.
Yeah. Are you well in your cell?
Not really.
You having a good night?
Not especially.
What game are you playing now?
Victoria 2.
What's Victoria 2?
Well, it's basically a bunch of graphs, and they move about.
I want to be that guy, David. I want to be you. I want to be a graph-based gamer, but I can't. I can't do graphs.
I mean, I'll show
I
you.
fail
now.
at Excel.
Wait, can you tell what's happening here? Because I can't.
Well, I can see that there's bar graphs, and they're moving. Major discovery.
Insurance companies.
Alright. Is this fun?
I think so.
I think I'm having fun.
It's hard to tell.
It looks like something. Is it literally just bar graphs?
No, there's like a map.
Okay.
You don't need to look at the map very often. Basically, I just click some buttons and make the bar graphs move in like enjoyable directions.
Okay. So is it like a clicker but with bar graphs?
I guess you could say that, yeah.
Yeah, in the way like all games are clickers really, if you stop and think about that. You're just making the numbers go higher.
Yeah, pretty much. That's all I'm really doing, just making numbers go high.
Well, good interview, David. You're the second person ever to be interviewed.
Nice.
How does that make you feel? I didn't come to you first, you know.
I'm fine with that for some odd reason. Normally I'd be quite insulted, but fuck it.
Today you're like, eh. Oh well.
I swore on the radio.
You did swear on the radio. The internet radio.
I have to beep that.
Oh god, like 8 hours of me trying to learn how to beep a word.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Well, goodbye everybody.
Bye.
This was the Girthzone that was. This was Girthzone 2.
The girthy...
The girthiest of zones, erected in 2017.
Don't say it's erected.
It was a girth zone. I erected a girth zone around the earth.
Oh god.
Bye!
Bye.
Tune in next time.